6 ancient discoveries that still baffle scientists today.
Throughout human history, we've built monuments. We've carved, stacked, and arranged stone and earth in patterns that have survived millennia. But some of these creations sit at the edges of our understanding. Structures so precise, so vast, or so inexplicable that they force us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about our ancestors. The question isn't whether ancient civilizations were clever. The question is how clever, and what did they know that we've forgotten? Today, we're going to travel across continents and backward through time. We'll stand before temples that predate agriculture itself. We'll examine mechanisms that rival modern engineering. We'll encounter theories that challenge the neat timeline historians have drawn for us. Some of these discoveries are recent. Some have sat in plain sight for centuries, waiting for the right tools, the right questions, to reveal their secrets. Let's begin where human spirituality may have first been born. Not in cities, not even in farms, but in the mountains of what is now Turkey, where the oldest temple on earth was raising its pillars toward the sky.
Ancient spirituality before cities, Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd noticed something unusual protruding from a hillside in southeastern Turkey. What seemed like scattered stones turned out to be the tip of something far more significant. Archaeologist Klaus Schmidt arrived the following year, and what he uncovered would challenge every assumption about the origins of civilization. Göbekli Tepe rises from the arid landscape of the Anatolian Plateau, roughly 12 kilometers from the modern city of Şanlıurfa. The site sits on a limestone ridge that offers clear views in every direction. When Schmidt and his team began excavating, they expected to find remnants of a medieval cemetery. Instead, they found something that shouldn't have existed. The structures at Göbekli Tepe date to approximately 9500 BCE, making them over 11,000 years old. To put this in perspective, they were built 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. This places their construction firmly in the pre-pottery Neolithic period, a time when humans were not supposed to have the organizational capacity or the motivation to build monumental architecture. The site consists of multiple circular and oval structures, each one ringed by massive T-shaped limestone pillars. These pillars stand up to 5 meters tall and weigh as much as 10 tons. They were quarried from bedrock, transported to the site, and erected with extraordinary precision. The craftsmanship is unmistakable. The surfaces of many pillars are carved with reliefs of animals: foxes, lions, scorpions, vultures, snakes, and wild boars. The carvings are not crude or primitive. They show anatomical understanding and artistic confidence. What makes Göbekli Tepe revolutionary is not just its age, but what it implies about the people who built it. According to the prevailing narrative of human development, civilization emerged in a specific sequence. First came agriculture, then permanent settlements, then surplus food production, and finally the social complexity that allowed for specialized labor and monumental construction. Religion and art were thought to be late additions, products of settled life. Göbekli Tepe reverses that sequence. The people who built it were hunter-gatherers. There is no evidence of domesticated plants or animals at the site during its period of use. No signs of permanent habitation, no remnants of households or cooking areas. Instead, the evidence suggests that groups of people came together periodically to construct and maintain these structures, then dispersed back into the surrounding landscape. This implies a level of social organization and shared belief that was not supposed to exist among mobile populations. It suggests that religion, or at least communal ritual, may have preceded agriculture rather than following it. Some researchers now propose that the need to gather for ritual purposes at sites like Göbekli Tepe may have driven the development of agriculture, not the other way around. People needed to stay closer to these sacred places, and that required reliable food sources. The pillars themselves present another mystery. Many of them feature carved arms and hands positioned as if the stones represent stylized human figures. But if they are meant to be human, they are humans without faces, without individuality. They seem to represent something collective or something beyond the human entirely. Then there is the question of why the site was buried. Around 8000 BCE, the structures at Göbekli Tepe were deliberately filled in with soil and rubble. This was not the result of abandonment or natural decay. It was an intentional act, carried out with the same labor and coordination that had built the site in the first place. Why would a people invest generations of effort into constructing a sacred site only to bury it completely? We don't know. We can speculate about shifting beliefs, environmental changes, or social upheaval, but the truth is that the minds of those ancient people remain opaque to us. What we do know is that they were capable of abstract thought, long-term planning, and collective action on a scale that surprises us even now. They built something that would last 11,000 years, and in doing so, they left us with more questions than answers. Göbekli Tepe is still being excavated. Ground-penetrating radar suggests that more structures remain underground, perhaps dozens more. With each new season of excavation, our understanding shifts. But one thing is certain, this site has permanently altered how we think about the dawn of civilization. And yet, Göbekli Tepe is just the beginning. Across the world, other discoveries tell equally unsettling stories about the capabilities of ancient peoples.
Ancient engineering impossibilities. Puma Punku, Bolivia. High in the Bolivian Altiplano, at an altitude of nearly 4,000 meters, lies a scattering of enormous stone blocks that defy easy explanation. Puma Punku, part of the larger Tiwanaku archaeological complex, was once a prominent ceremonial center. Today, it appears as a field of ruins, massive stones lying at odd angles, many of them showing signs of catastrophic destruction. But it's not the site's current state that captures attention, it's the precision of the stonework. Puma Punku was constructed sometime between 500 and 600 CE, during the height of the Tiwanaku civilization. This culture dominated the region around Lake Titicaca for centuries, developing sophisticated agricultural techniques, complex social hierarchies, and architectural skills that remain impressive by any standard. But even within this context, Puma Punku stands out. The site features multiple platform levels built from enormous blocks of red sandstone and andesite. Some of these blocks weigh over 100 tons. The largest weighs an estimated 400 tons. These stones were quarried from sites 10 to 90 kilometers away, transported across difficult terrain, and fitted together with remarkable accuracy. What draws engineers and archaeologists to Puma Punku is the precision of the cuts. Many of the blocks feature perfectly straight edges and smooth surfaces. Interior angles are exact. Drill holes are uniform in diameter and depth. Some blocks have H-shaped grooves cut into them, presumably to interlock with metal clamps that would hold structures together. The tolerances are tight, often within a millimeter. This level of precision is difficult to achieve even with modern tools. With copper chisels and stone hammers, the tools available to the Tiwanaku, it should be nearly impossible. Yet the evidence is undeniable. The stones exist. They were shaped by human hands. Several theories attempt to explain how this was accomplished. The most conservative view holds that the Tiwanaku possessed techniques that have been lost, possibly involving abrasives, advanced measuring systems, and patient, multi-generational effort. Others propose that the stones were shaped using methods we haven't yet identified, perhaps involving chemical processes or unknown technologies. The more speculative theories go further, suggesting that the precision indicates intervention by a more advanced civilization, either from elsewhere on Earth or from beyond it. These theories gained traction in popular culture during the late 20th century, particularly through the work of writers like Erich von Däniken. While mainstream archaeology rejects these ideas, they continue to circulate widely, fueled by the undeniable fact that we cannot fully explain how Pumapunku was built. Transportation presents an equally vexing problem. Moving a 400-ton stone across nearly 100 kilometers of mountainous terrain would challenge modern engineering. Doing so without wheeled vehicles, without draft animals capable of pulling such weight, and without metal tools strong enough to work the stone efficiently seems to border on the impossible. Experimental archaeology has shown that large stones can be moved using wooden rollers, rope, and coordinated human labor. The ancient Egyptians left detailed records of such techniques. But those methods were employed at sea level, where oxygen is plentiful and workers can exert maximum effort. At 4,000 meters, the thin air makes sustained physical labor exponentially more difficult. The logistics become staggering. Adding to the mystery is the site's current condition. Pumapunku shows signs of having been violently destroyed. Massive blocks are toppled and displaced. Some appear to have been thrown considerable distances. The Spanish chroniclers who arrived in the 16th century reported that the site was already in ruins, and local traditions held that it had been destroyed in a single night by some catastrophic event. Archaeologists have proposed earthquakes as the likely cause, but the extent of the destruction suggests something particularly violent. What we're left with is a site that demonstrates extraordinary capability, yet leaves enormous gaps in our understanding. The Tiwanaku clearly possessed advanced knowledge of geometry, engineering, and construction. They organized labor forces capable of moving and shaping massive stones. They created something that endures more than 1,000 years after their civilization collapsed. But how they did it, using the tools and techniques we believe they had available, remains an open question. Pumapunku reminds us that ancient peoples were far more capable than we often assume, and that our understanding of their methods is still incomplete. The stone blocks sit where they fell, silent testimony to a civilization that rose, flourished, and vanished, leaving behind questions that continue to challenge our assumptions about what was possible in the ancient world. From the mountains of Bolivia, we turn to the depths of the Mediterranean, where a single artifact has rewritten our understanding of ancient technology. The 2,000-year-old computer. In the spring of 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers took shelter from a storm near the small island of Antikythera, located between Crete and mainland Greece. When the weather cleared, a diver named Ilias Stadiatis descended to the seafloor and made a discovery that would puzzle scientists for more than a century. Stadiatis found the wreck of an ancient Roman ship, its hull encrusted with marine growth, but its cargo still visible. Scattered across the seabed were bronze statues, amphorae, glassware, and various corroded objects. The divers recovered what they could, and the finds were transported to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. Among the corroded lumps of bronze was an object that initially attracted little attention. It appeared to be a heavily encrusted mechanism of some kind, but its purpose was unclear. Only when the encrustation began to dry and crack did anyone realize that this corroded mass contained gears. The Antikythera mechanism, as it came to be known, dates to approximately 100 BCE. It was built during the late Hellenistic period, a time of extraordinary scientific and mathematical achievement in the Greek world. But nothing in the historical record prepared researchers for what this device turned out to be. The mechanism is an analog computer designed to calculate and display astronomical information. It consists of at least 30 bronze gears housed in a wooden frame roughly the size of a shoebox. The front face featured 2 dials displaying the positions of the sun and moon against the zodiac, as well as the phases of the moon. The back face contained dials that tracked the lunar calendar, predicted eclipses, and may have indicated the positions of the 5 planets known to ancient astronomers. The complexity is staggering. The gear train uses differential gearing, a technique that allows 2 or more gears to rotate at different speeds. This wasn't rediscovered in European clockwork until the 16th century. The eclipse prediction dial operates on the Saros cycle, a period of approximately 18 years after which lunar and solar eclipses repeat. This shows that the mechanism's builders had access to centuries of astronomical observations and could express that knowledge in mechanical form. For decades after its discovery, historians struggled to accept what the Antikythera mechanism represented. Geared devices of this sophistication were not supposed to exist in the ancient world. The prevailing view held that such technology only emerged in medieval Europe with the development of elaborate clockwork. The mechanism seemed like an anachronism, an object out of time. It took modern technology to fully reveal the mechanism's secrets. In the early 2000s, researchers used X-ray computed tomography to peer inside the corroded bronze without damaging it. They discovered additional gears, inscriptions, and mechanical features that had been invisible to earlier investigators. The inscriptions turned out to be an instruction manual describing how to use the device and what astronomical phenomena it displayed. What we now understand is that the Antikythera mechanism represents a tradition of mechanical astronomy that flourished in the Hellenistic world but left almost no other physical trace. Ancient texts make occasional references to such devices. The Roman philosopher Cicero mentions that his friend Posidonius constructed a model that showed the motions of the sun, moon, and planets. But until the Antikythera mechanism was found, these references were dismissed as exaggeration or misunderstanding. The mechanism's existence raises uncomfortable questions. If the Greeks could build this, what else could they build? How much knowledge was lost in the decline of classical civilization? And why did it take so long for humanity to rediscover these capabilities? The ship that carried the mechanism was likely traveling from the eastern Mediterranean toward Rome when it sank. Its cargo suggests a wealthy patron, possibly a Roman aristocrat interested in Greek culture and learning. We don't know who built the mechanism, though some researchers suspect a connection to the island of Rhodes, where the astronomer Hipparchus worked. We don't know how many such devices were made, or how widely they were used. What we do know is that this single artifact has fundamentally changed how we view ancient technology. It demonstrates that the Greeks possessed not just theoretical knowledge of astronomy and mathematics, but the practical engineering skills to embody that knowledge in mechanical form. They could design complex gear trains, precision manufacture components, and assemble them into a functioning computer. The Antikythera mechanism spent 2,000 years on the seafloor, slowly dissolving in salt water. That it survived at all is extraordinary. How many similar devices existed? How many were lost, melted down for their bronze, or simply corroded beyond recognition? We'll likely never know. But this single surviving example is enough to prove that ancient peoples were capable of technological sophistication that we're only now beginning to fully appreciate. The past, it turns out, was more advanced than we thought. From precision engineering, we turn to massive construction and to a site that has fascinated humanity for centuries.
Stonehenge, the final theories. Few archaeological sites have captured public imagination like Stonehenge. The stone circle that rises from Salisbury Plain in southern England has been studied, theorized about, and mythologized for centuries. Yet, despite this attention, fundamental questions about its purpose and construction remain unresolved. Stonehenge was built in several phases over roughly 1,500 years. The earliest elements, a circular ditch and bank, date to around 3000 BCE. The iconic stone circle, featuring massive sarsen blocks capped with horizontal lintels, was erected around 2500 BCE. This makes Stonehenge roughly contemporary with the Egyptian pyramids, though it served very different purposes. The construction required extraordinary effort. The sarsen stones, each weighing around 25 tons, were transported from the Marlborough Downs, located about 30 kilometers north. The smaller blue stones, weighing several tons each, came from the Preseli Hills in Wales, over 200 kilometers away. Moving these stones without wheeled vehicles or metal tools required coordinated labor on a massive scale. Recent research has begun to answer some long-standing questions while raising new ones. Ground-penetrating radar and other remote sensing techniques have revealed that Stonehenge was part of a much larger ritual landscape. Nearby sites, including the massive earthwork at Durrington Walls and the timber circle known as Woodhenge, were all part of an interconnected ceremonial complex. One of the more intriguing recent discoveries involves the acoustic properties of the stone circle. Researchers have found that the arrangement of stones create unusual sound effects. Echoes are dampened in some areas and amplified in others. Certain frequencies resonate more strongly than others. This has led some to propose that Stonehenge was designed with acoustic considerations in mind, perhaps to enhance ritual chanting or drumming. The site's astronomical alignments have been noted for centuries. The avenue leading to Stonehenge aligns with the sunrise on the summer solstice and the sunset on the winter solstice. These alignments are too precise to be coincidental. They demonstrate that the builders possessed detailed knowledge of solar movements and incorporated that knowledge into their design. But was Stonehenge primarily an astronomical observatory, a temple, a healing center, or something else entirely? Evidence exists for multiple interpretations. Excavations have uncovered human remains, both cremated and unburied, suggesting that the site had funerary functions. Chemical analysis of animal bones from nearby settlements indicates that people traveled from across Britain to participate in feasts at Stonehenge, implying that it served as a gathering place for scattered communities. The healing hypothesis gained attention in the early 2000s when researchers noticed that many of the skeletons buried near Stonehenge showed signs of injury or disease. Some individuals had traveled considerable distances, perhaps seeking healing at a site believed to have sacred power. The blue stones, in particular, may have been valued for their supposed medicinal properties. New discoveries continue to emerge. In 2020, archaeologists announced the identification of the source of some of the sarsen stones to a specific site in West Woods, only 25 kilometers from Stonehenge. This precision allows for more detailed studies of how the stones were worked and transported. What becomes clear from decades of research is that Stonehenge meant different things at different times. It was not built for a single purpose and then abandoned. It was used, modified, and reinterpreted across generations. The society that began building it in 3000 BCE was not the society that completed it over a millennium later. The people who built Stonehenge left no written records. We have only the stones themselves, the artifacts buried nearby, and the evidence of coordinated labor stretching across centuries. What we see is a culture deeply invested in creating permanent monuments that connected earth and sky, life and death, community and cosmos. Stonehenge stands today as it has for 4,500 years, its original purpose forever partially obscured by time. But the site continues to reveal its secrets slowly, reminding us that even the most famous archaeological sites still have stories to tell. From stone circles, we travel to desert plains, where enormous figures drawn on the ground have puzzled observers for generations. Ancient artistry, or star maps. The Nazca Desert in southern Peru is one of the driest places on Earth. Rainfall is minimal, winds are light, and the ground consists of reddish pebbles overlying lighter-colored soil. These conditions have preserved one of archaeology's most spectacular enigmas, the Nazca Lines. Stretching across nearly 500 square kilometers of desert floor are hundreds of geometric shapes, straight lines, and enormous figures depicting animals, plants, and abstract forms. There are hummingbirds, monkeys, spiders, condors, and human-like figures. Some of the lines run perfectly straight for kilometers. The figures range from a few meters to over 300 meters in length. The lines were created by removing the dark surface pebbles to reveal the lighter ground beneath. This technique, called geoglyph creation, is relatively simple but requires careful planning and execution. The Nazca people, who flourished in this region between roughly 100 BCE and 800 CE, created these designs over centuries. What makes the Nazca lines truly remarkable is their scale. The figures are so large that they can only be fully appreciated from the air. From ground level, they appear as shallow trenches and cleared areas. Their form only becomes apparent from an elevated vantage point, ideally hundreds of meters up. This fact has fueled decades of speculation. Why create art that can't be properly viewed by its creators? The most famous proponent of the ancient astronaut theory, Erich von Däniken, suggested in the 1960s that the lines were created as signals or landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors. While this idea has been thoroughly debunked by archaeologists, it captured public imagination and continues to influence popular perceptions of the site. More grounded explanations focus on the ritual and astronomical significance of the lines. Researcher Maria Reich, who spent much of her life studying and protecting the Nazca lines, proposed that they functioned as an enormous astronomical calendar. She identified alignments between certain lines and the positions of celestial bodies at specific times of year. This would have allowed the Nazca to track seasons and predict important agricultural events. Other researchers have emphasized the ritual walking hypothesis. The lines may have served as sacred pathways, routes to be followed during religious ceremonies. Many of the straight lines lead to or from important geographical features, such as mountains or water sources. Walking these lines could have been an act of devotion, a way of connecting human activity to the landscape and to the divine. Recent discoveries have complicated and enriched this picture. In the past decade, drone technology has allowed archaeologists to survey the region more thoroughly than ever before. They've found hundreds of new geoglyphs, many of them smaller and more intricate than the famous large figures. Some of these newly discovered lines appear to be much older, possibly predating the main Nazca culture. The preservation of the lines is itself remarkable. They've survived for over 2,000 years largely because of the region's extreme aridity and lack of wind, but they are fragile. In 2014, Greenpeace activists entered the site to place a protest banner near one of the figures, leaving footprints that damaged the ancient surface. The incident highlighted how vulnerable these designs are to human interference. What purpose did the Nazca lines serve? The truth is probably more complex than any single explanation. They likely had religious significance, astronomical functions, and social importance. Creating and maintaining them would have required community coordination and effort, reinforcing social bonds and shared identity. The Nazca people left no written language, so we cannot know for certain what the lines meant to them, but we can appreciate the ambition and skill involved in their creation. These ancient artists transformed an entire landscape into a canvas, creating works that have endured far longer than they could have imagined. The lines stretch across the desert still, visible from aircraft and satellites, enigmatic testimony to a culture that saw the Earth itself as a medium for expression. Giza Pyramid, new discoveries inside. The Great Pyramid of Giza has been studied more intensively than perhaps any other structure on Earth. Built for Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, it stood as the tallest human-made structure for over 3,800 years. Its construction required an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons, assembled with astonishing precision.
Yet, despite centuries of investigation, the pyramid continues to yield secrets. In 2017, an international team of scientists announced the discovery of a large void within the pyramid structure, detected using muon radiography. Muons are subatomic particles created when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere. They can pass through solid rock, but are absorbed at different rates depending on density. By placing muon detectors inside and around the pyramid, researchers could map its internal structure without drilling or damaging the ancient stones. The void they discovered sits above the Grand Gallery, the pyramid's distinctive ascending corridor. The cavity measures at least 30 meters in length and has a cross-section similar to the Grand Gallery itself. Its purpose remains unknown. It could be a structural feature designed to relieve pressure from the stones above. It could be a hidden chamber containing artifacts or inscriptions, or it could be something entirely unexpected. This discovery is just the latest in a long history of surprises from Giza. The precision of the pyramid's construction continues to impress engineers. The base is level to within 2 centimeters across its 230-meter width. The sides align almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, deviating by only about 3 arc minutes. The angle of the slopes is consistent to within minutes of arc. These achievements required sophisticated surveying techniques, careful planning, and exceptional organizational capability. The workforce would have numbered in the tens of thousands, including not just laborers, but also masons, engineers, surveyors, and administrators. They would have needed to be fed, housed, and coordinated across decades of construction. Recent excavations have uncovered evidence of workers' villages near Giza, revealing that the pyramid builders were not slaves, but paid laborers, likely recruited during the Nile's flood season when agricultural work was impossible. They lived in barracks, received medical care, and were buried in tombs near the pyramids they built, an honor that suggests they took pride in their work. The methods used to raise the stones remain debated. The ancient Egyptians left no detailed records of pyramid construction techniques. Ramps are the most commonly proposed solution, but the design and placement of these ramps is controversial. A straight ramp to the pyramid's top would have required more material than the pyramid itself. Spiral ramps winding around the pyramid are more efficient, but leave no archaeological trace. Internal ramps threading through the pyramid structure have been proposed but not definitively proven. Some researchers have suggested that the Egyptians used different methods for different stages of construction. Lower levels might have employed straight ramps, while upper levels used spiral or internal systems. The truth may involve a combination of techniques, adapted as the structure rose higher and challenges evolved. The pyramid's interior contains 3 main chambers. The lowest, carved into bedrock, was apparently abandoned unfinished. The middle chamber, misleadingly called the Queen's Chamber, sits within the pyramid structure and also appears incomplete. The King's Chamber, at the heart of the pyramid, contains Khufu's empty granite sarcophagus. These chambers are connected by a network of passages, some ascending, some descending, some barely wide enough for a person to crawl through. Narrow shafts extend from both the King's and Queen's chambers toward the pyramid's outer surface, though they don't all reach it. These shafts were long thought to be air shafts, but recent theories suggest they may have had ritual significance, perhaps aligned with stars important to Egyptian cosmology. The Great Pyramid was originally encased in polished white limestone, giving it a smooth, gleaming surface. Most of this casing was stripped away in medieval times to build structures in Cairo. The capstone, once gold-plated, has been missing since antiquity. In its complete form, the pyramid would have been a brilliant landmark visible for kilometers across the Nile Valley. What the new void discovered in 2017 contains, if anything, remains unknown. Egyptian authorities are cautious about invasive exploration that might damage the structure. Non-invasive technologies continue to improve, offering hope that we might eventually peer into this hidden space without drilling through millennia-old stone. The Great Pyramid endures as a testament to human ambition and capability. It demonstrates that with enough coordination, knowledge, and effort, humans can achieve the seemingly impossible. And it reminds us that even the most studied monuments can still surprise us.
We have moved from Turkey to Illinois, from deep water to high plateaus, and each stop has shown how far human skill once reached. The story is ongoing. More discoveries will come, and each one will change how we see our origins. If you want more journeys into the ancient world, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode.